Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. I want to thank you for being with us. A 5-year-old Michigan girl vanishes into thin air from the playground. Only clue, her scooter left behind.
The investigation continues into what happened to 5-year-old Nevaeh Buchanan, who police believe may be in extreme danger.
She come in the house, changed her clothes. She told me that she was going back upstairs to her friend's house, and that's the last time I saw her.
I told her, I said, Jenny, she's 5 years old. Well, she has a mind of a 10-year-old. I said, I don't care about the mind. She's only 5.
The mother was also reportedly involved with a sex offender who's been questioned by police.
Were you quoted as saying that George Kennedy was served as a father figure?
Yeah, but there's also a lot of times I knew that he wasn't allowed to be around her. I wouldn't have her around. But there's a few times that he has seen her, interacted with her, but I was there.
Now, the mom says he was never alone with her, but the child was out playing on her scooter completely unsupervised. So how do we know who she was with?
I asked the same questions, you know. Nevaeh wanted to go upstairs and play with a friend of hers. Well, I asked Jenny, I said, well, you should have went and knocked on the door and asked the parents, is it okay if Nevaeh plays with your little boy? But she didn't. And she just let her go on by herself.
When did you realize that she was missing?
It was like within 20 minutes. So I got up, went to go outside to look for her. Haven't seen her since.
Straight out to Matt Zarrell, this mother who's spending her time defending her sex offender boyfriend. I've just gotten my mitts on his criminal history. Explain.
Well, less than 24 hours after this stunning radio interview where the mother says that this guy, George Kennedy, is a father figure to Nevaeh, we learn more about why he's a sex offender in the first place. Apparently, he lured a young teen to the side of a gas station where he forcibly...
Wait, stop. How old was the teen?
Somewhere between 11 and 15. They don't reveal the age.
Go ahead.
Okay, so he forcibly raped her in his vehicle on the side of a gas station. Then, later, as they're investigating other cases where Kennedy attacked other victims, including a 13-year-old and a 15-year-old, they learn of this rape, and he's eventually convicted. He's sentenced to jail. He only does 13 months for rape.
13 months for rape. And what year was that, Matt Zarrell?
The first incident occurred in 1999. She did not report it until 3 years later when authorities were investigating the other incidents that occurred in the area.
The other incidents. How many incidents, as you are euphemistically calling them, Matt Zarrell, how many incidents, translation, child molestations, do we have?
There are at least 3 assaults that we know of. The one in 1999, there was a 13-year-old who he forcibly tried to stick his tongue down her throat. He also offered her marijuana in order to have sex with her. There was also a 15-year-old who he grabbed her buttocks and also tried to force himself on her.
Now, this is George Kennedy, the man the mom says is a father figure to the little 5-year-old girl. Yes, no?
Yes.
We are taking your calls live out to Rob Davidek with WWJ News Radio 950. Aside from the sex offender, boyfriend, father figure to the missing 5-year-old girl, Rob, what can you tell me about the search for Nevaeh itself?
Investigators following up, day 11 now for Nevaeh, and investigators following up now more than 900 tips that have come into the tip line of 734-243-7070. And right now they have been able to talk with an ice cream truck driver who they wanted to look for. They are still looking for the person of a green minivan and a silver minivan who are in a playground near the apartment complex where she went missing.
Liz, let's do a shot of the silver and green minivans. Everyone, they are believed to be a late model van, and they were parked near or at the playground where Nevaeh goes missing, the little 5-year-old girl vanishing seemingly into thin air. Out to the lines, Kathy in Florida. Hi, Kathy.
Yeah, hi, Nancy. Thank God these victims have you to talk for them.
Thank you.
I'm a mom, and I just became a grandma, Nancy. I want to know how these mothers, or it can work the other way, too, shouldn't they be charged for allowing these children to go with people like these sex offenders?
And you know what? Not only that, Kathy in Florida, for leaving the child alone. Leaving the child alone. Let's go to the lawyers. Let's unleash Renee Rockwell, defense attorney out of the Atlanta jurisdiction, Alan Ripka out of New York. Renee, leaving a 5-year-old child alone. You've got nieces and nephews that age. What about it?
I don't know that she was under any condition like he may have been to stay away from younger children, but certainly she could be criticized, Nancy.
I didn't say criticized. I said charged.
If I can
charged
finish,
for child
and
neglect.
charged with some type of neglect.
Ripka?
Well, it depends on the circumstances, Nancy. Leaving someone out front of your house playing on the lawn for a little while does not necessarily mean child neglect. It depends where the child was, how far away the parent was, and what's expected in the neighborhood.
What about subjecting your child to a registered sex offender, Renee Rockwell?
Well, Nancy, if she knew about it and she knew the child was in danger, I'm sure that she may come under criticism. But what the tables are going to turn, if she's already admitted that she's left this child alone with him, or the child's been in his presence, he may have some complications and some repercussions because he may not be able to be around children that age.
Take a listen to what the mother had to say.
One of the things that you were quoted in one of the papers throughout this 8-day investigation, that you were getting irritated with anybody asking you about having known people like George and Roy, that they had been registered sex offenders, and you said that that really didn't even matter at this point. Do you
I feel that it really doesn't matter. Not all offenders reoffend. No one ever knows if a person is a sex offender or not unless they are labeled.
Right.
Anybody could be a sex offender.
He was labeled Jennifer Buchanan, and you subjected your 5-year-old little girl to him. Back out to Matt Zorrell. Isn't it true that one of the persons of interest is actually complaining and wants an apology from police?
Yes, James Easter, the third person of interest, is demanding an apology. He says he was targeted by cops and that he was put in a horrible cell with no bed, no pillow. He wants an apology now.
How did you lose custody to start with? Was it over not paying child support?
No, not at all.
How'd you lose it?
I just don't know why I didn't get custody. I guess in the state of Michigan, his grandmother, after, something went wrong.